Study Session 8. Social Problems, Alcoholism and Drug Addiction. Introduction. In this study session, you will examine some deviant behaviors that are seen as social problems. Focus is on alcoholism and drug addiction. At the end of this study session, you should be able to define and use correctly the following bold terms: alcoholism, addiction, tolerance. Identify the symptoms and causes of alcoholism. Outline the processes involved in addiction. Alcoholism. Alcoholism is a condition characterized by a preoccupation with alcohol and impaired control over alcohol intake. Alcoholism refers to any condition that results in the continued consumption of alcoholic beverages, despite the health problems and negative social consequences. Alcoholism may also refer to a preoccupation with or compulsion towards the consumption of alcohol and an or impaired ability to recognize the negative effects of excessive alcohol consumption. Alcohol is here given a lot of attention because it is the commonest drug abused in Nigeria. Concerns about alcohol focus on psychopharmacological violence. In this analysis of homicide, Wolfgang 1958 found that 55% of offenders and 53% of victims had been drinking, and many other studies obtained similar findings. Alcohol has also been implicated in other violent crimes. For instance, Shoup 1954 analyzed urinary alcohol concentrations in 882 offenders following arrest. Levels indicating intoxication were present at 88% of those charged with cutting, 96% of murderers, and 45% of those charged with rape. These findings do not establish a causal relationship. Data on drinking levels in comparable groups who have not offended had not been reported, and most research draws on police reports or retrospective accounts of offenders of uncertain reliability. Offenders' reports may be biased, since claiming intoxication is a common form of deviance disavowal. Some studies also indicate that high proportions of non-violent offenders have been drinking prior to offending, suggesting that drinking is associated with criminal behavior in general, or perhaps a failure to avoid detection. Moreover, aggression is not the worst common effect of alcohol. Despite some level of controversy surrounding the effect of alcohol on criminality, the balance of evidence favors a special link between alcohol and aggressive rhymes, and facilitative effect of alcohol on aggression has been demonstrated in laboratory studies by Bushman and Cooper, 1990. Graham, 1980, identified 4 categories of theory, which differ according to the role ascribed to alcohol itself. A direct cause is explicit in disinhibitory theory, which assumes that alcohol acts on the brain's mechanism that inhibits aggression. This implies that it affects the neurotransmitter substance that serves as inhibitor of aggressive tendency of man. This view was, however, undermined by lack of evidence for brain centers of aggression and by the variable effects of alcohol. Moreover, there are high frequencies of occasions when alcohol is consumed and there was no aggressive consequence. B. Other theories argued for indirect cause and assumed that effects of alcohol are mediated by changes in arousal and cognition. Some researchers propose that alcohol reduces ability to attend to multiple cues and switch attention, with the result that the intoxicated person is more stimulus bound, less guided by inhibitory cues or anticipated future consequences, and takes more risks. Others suggest that alcohol affects cognition, narrowing the perceptual field, and makes behavior more situationally determined. The third approach emphasizes the motive for drinking, which may be the attainment of anxiety reduction or feelings of power, which then interact with other effects of alcohol. For example, reduced ambiguities of situational cues may enhance feelings of control, which are potentiated in those with power concerns, leading to overestimated prowess. The last but not the least set of theories sees the alcohol-aggression correlation as reflecting predispositional or situational factors. The following conclusions were reached from the various studies reviewed. Personality factors may lead people both to drinking and to behaving aggressively. For example, Buchanan et al. Found that students who reported becoming aggressive after drinking were distinguished from unaggressive drinkers by more self-reported delinquency, hostility, dominance, impulsivity, and inconsistent upbringing, as well as by increased skin conductance recovery time after drinking. Expectations about the effect of alcohol and the cultural permitted time outs form social rules allowed for drinkers may also engage deviant behavior after drinking. There are some drinking situations themselves that are more conducive to aggression. These theories overlap rather than compete. Drug addiction and deviant behavior. Mythology about drug use has fostered the belief that they are prominent causes of criminal acts, particularly violence. However, research indicates that delinquency and substance use are acts of a deviant lifestyle that results from a variety of factors, and any association may be incidental. Drug addiction is a powerful motivation for some people to engage themselves in certain behaviors that are deviant. Before we talk about how it relates to deviant lifestyle, we must first have an understanding of the concept of drug addiction and how and why one becomes addicted. The cravings for certain drugs, such as opiates, heroin or morphine, psychostimulants, amphetamine or cocaine, or synthetic street versions of these drugs, and certain other drugs, such as alcohol and nicotine, as well as others, can become overwhelming. Leshner, 1997. The addict's craving for the drug may be so severe to the extent that they sacrifice their jobs, family life and relationships, homes, and even freedom to obtain it. Addiction usually occurs when a pattern of compulsive and destructive drug-taking behaviors has emerged. Often, the person craves for the drug in a compulsive manner. The question then is, what causes the transformation from trying out a drug into addiction? The truth is that about 3 factors have been found to explain what makes psychoactive drugs so addictive. The first is the ability of most addictive drugs to overactivate some pleasure areas of the brain. Most of the psychoactive drugs act as either agonists or antagonists to the neurotransmitter substances in the brain. Study session summary. In this study session, we have examined alcoholism and drug addiction, prostitution and family violence as form of social problems. Specifically, we defined the 4 concepts and also discussed their symptoms. We also examined the theories used to explain those phenomena. End of study section 8. Thanks for listening.